know I never get excited when I find mine. I'm riding by the glow of a TV screen. And nobody ever told me that in times when I'm lonely I should call, baby, how you been?
Hey guys, Ollie Mansour here for Driving Line, and today we're going to tackle one of the most common questions we get. Can you run a 35-inch tall tire with no lift on the Jeep Wrangler JK? We have a 2017 Jeep Wrangler JK Sport behind me and these 35 by 1250 Nitto Ridge Grapplers. So let's bolt them up and see what happens. So this JK still has the factory front bumper and splash guard. Now, based off experience I've had in the past, I know this splash guard will contact the 35 at full lock. Now, I personally don't like how the splash guard looks, whether it's stock or lifted. So I'm gonna go ahead and ditch it. And all that means is I have to take this plastic trim tool and pop out 6 of these little clips. Now, if you want to keep it in place, whether you have it lifted or not, you can trim out just a little bit on either side and it will allow the tire to clear. I personally just liked a little bit more of aggressive look in dropping it out. Now let's talk a little bit about what tire we went with and why. Now this is a 35 by 1250 Nitto Ridge Grappler. Now Nitto's tires tend to run more true to size than other tires on the market. That's a good thing, but you got to know you're getting a big 35 here. Now, it being a Ridge Grappler, it's sort of in between their mud tire and their all-terrain. It's kind of this hybrid in between, which is a really good fit, especially if it's going to be a daily driver, but you still want to get some real trail wheeling in. Now, where does this thing fit with wheels? Now this is a 17 by 9 Venom Rex wheel. Now this has 4.5 inches of back spacing, which gives it just enough to sort of offset it from the vehicle, but it's not so much that it sticks out extremely from the truck. Okay, let's talk a little bit about clearance here. Now, it is very tight between the front tire and the front bumper. Not so much that we've actually contacted it, but you know, we're gonna be curious to see if that's gonna hit once we get this thing off-road. Now, in terms of the frame side here, we are not touching the frame or the control arm at full lock, so that's no big deal. Now in the back, this is a 2017, so we already have the back of the body is trimmed from the factory at this angle. If you have an earlier one, that might not be the case for you, and it could be very close. Rear bumper, plenty of clearance, especially if you're just driving down the road, no big deal. Now it is worth noting that we do have the spare tire on here. Obviously put the full-size spare. We have not spaced out these bumpers. It's something that we'll need to do to kind of keep some of the rattle down. Overall, the tire just bolted right up, wasn't a big deal. It is worth noting that it does touch just ever so slightly here on the back bumper. Again, stock plastic back bumper, doesn't really hinder you opening and closing the tailgate. Not really a big deal, still opens and closes pretty easily. So, all right, so let's go see how this thing drives a little bit more. Now, in terms of overall power, we can definitely tell you that we are down. Now, this JK has a 321 differential gear set, so you know, if we had 373s or 410s, it probably wouldn't be as noticeable. Now, we don't have a calibrator on this Jeep yet, so we haven't been able to adjust the speedometer, which is definitely affecting its accuracy and the overall shift points of the Jeep. Again, we just wanted to see, hey, can you just bolt on 35s? What will the Jeep do? We definitely think a calibrator at a minimum is what this thing's going to need to have. If you want to get your performance back, you're probably going to want to do gears, especially if you just have a 321 gear set like we do. I'd recommend a 456. That would be fine for something like a 35. So the closest place that I can go kind of quickly test the flex is out here at the beach. Didn't disconnect the sway bar, knew that wasn't going to help the situation, so wanted to kind of show you. This is it sort of fully stuffed, and you know, it's not a huge articulation Jeep, that's for sure. Sorry about the bad audio, but the wind is crazy out here. But see, you can see we are stuffed all the way in the fender here, and I don't think it's gonna pop it off, but it's definitely rubbing. You've got a little bit of room there, so you're okay. Not touching anything here. It's just more of the flare. If we had an aftermarket flare, I don't think it'd be an issue at all. So that's sort of the rub of how this thing is working in general. It has pretty good power out here on the beach. Even with the 321 gears, we're still in 4-wheel drive high, so that's been pretty good. So what's the big takeaway here? yes, you can run a 35-inch tall tire on the Jeep Wrangler JK with no lift. That's pretty awesome. Now, we did do a little wheeling, and yeah, we rubbed. Now, it didn't damage the fender flare. We didn't rip one off, but if we were really going to go up in the mountains and wheel, for the weekend with our friends, I don't think these plastic fender flares would stay on there very long, especially if we disconnected the front sway bar. Now, if you're just chasing a handful of Subarus or going down a gravel dirt road, yeah, they'll probably be fine. Now, you can stay with this 35 and no lift combo if you're willing to either modify the factory flares by trimming them or just going with an aftermarket set. That's the nice thing about the JK. It has such a large wheel well opening, you're able to run a very large tire. Now, our Project JK we've worked on in the past, it's running a 2.5-inch kit, and now when we initially lifted it, we ran a 35. We were very happy with that lift height, and even still to this day, it still runs 2.5 inches of lift, but thanks to aftermarket fender flares, we're on a set of 37-inch tall tires. Now, this Jeep is a base Jeep, so it doesn't have the nice Rubicon axles and selectable lockers and sway bar disconnects, so it doesn't necessarily fall into that same build category as what our Rubicon is. That being said, this is a great platform to do some light wheeling with and general exploring. Now, truth be told, we already have a 2-inch suspension kit for this thing, and before we put it on, we just kind of wanted to see what if any was kind of lift would be necessary to run these 35s. Now, we will put the lift on here, and we do want to go ahead and calibrate for the tire size just to make everything right. But at the end of the day, we'll say it's for science. We wanted to try to put this tire package on here and just see what it would do. Like I say, if you're going to just stay on the road and build a mall crawler, I hate to say that, it works, it's fine. If you're really going to go wheel, go ahead and get at least 2 inches of lift. Try to get a kit that has proper bump stop spacers and shocks, so you're really optimizing your suspension travel and all the little pieces that you need. So, hope you like this video. Be sure to hit subscribe because we got more cool JK, JL, and some JT stuff coming very soon.